Not too bad, you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Good to see
That's
you.
good. You too?
Yeah. So how's everything with you then?
Yeah, okay at the moment. You?
Yeah, really busy. We've got like this big hangout with Mark Sargent and Dave Murphy and Santos, um, also Darren Nesbitt and a guy called Oliver Ludlow. I'm going to take my camera off. I always have a lagging problem. Sorry, Craig. Um,
That's okay.
it's just my voice doesn't match, so I'll just take it off. But that's to be arranged for the end of June. But Santos and Dave are away till next week. I don't think it happened, did it? My camera didn't go off.
No, you're still there.
Yeah, go on. Just you're all right, but I'm just lagging. It's not gonna. It's been really.
Right, you
That's
gone
it.
now.
Yeah. So that's happening at the end of June, but I've just got to arrange the day. And then obviously this flat Earth convention, which Gary's got into. You probably should be there, Craig, on the day. It's going to be the first week of April next year. And that's going to be a ticket with food and 2 days of conference and speakers and teas and coffees, the whole thing. So that's looking good. That's all happening, and that's just Gary just sounding off me because he's organising it. He was going to go through someone, but I think he's going to do it himself now. And I think he's going to book the hotel today or in the next few days. So that's all happening. So it's all going really fast. And of course, we're on quite a lot of hangouts in the group, which is a shame you can't join some of them because I think you'd like them. But they're in the evening, they're 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. And we have to have some of them
Yeah,
later because people are in other countries. So at 10 o'clock, it's sort of 5 o'clock in America, some parts of America, so you can get people on. So it's just really busy.
yeah.
Really, really
Well, it's going
busy.
good for you. I can see that.
I've gone a bit mad on my YouTube channel, but that's partly because I want people to know it's there, but then eventually we can put series work on it. And
Okay.
this weekend we've got a video club now. Obviously you can only have 10 on a hangout, so you couldn't have more than 10 people in the hangout. I think we were 7 last
Yeah,
time. But we're going to do, I think, series work the next time, so that we've done our group research, and then after that, people choose a video. So we've picked Frankie as the next one to choose the video, and then we discuss that on a hangout. But actually, on hangouts, quite a few people have looked at it. I haven't, I usually post around Facebook. Facebook have blocked me till today on groups, so I can't go to groups. So that's why I've been a
okay.
bit quiet. But I need to then put those hangouts out for other people to see them around Facebook, to see that there are people doing stuff, that it's not just an idle thing, that we're not just sitting here doing nothing. And a lot is coming from
Yeah,
my group, like it just is happening through Sun and Moon. So I'm really chuffed.
yeah. I'll say, like, I'm impressed from where you've come from to where you are now.
I know, because you were there at the beginning, weren't you? When, I remember trying to come to Google Hangout because I was afraid.
Yeah, I
Do you
remember.
remember that? Help me.
Yeah, definitely. I remember that. That was funny times. And look at you now. I mean,
It has moved on quite a
it's
lot,
gonna,
Craig.
yeah, definitely.
You've gone a bit quieter, haven't you,
You did.
though?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's life, innit? It gets on top of you sometimes.
Yeah, you're married and
But
got
I'm
kids,
not at the
haven't
moment.
you?
Yeah, and plus I've been getting into sort of other stuff rather than just the flat earth. I don't know if you've seen any of my posts on Facebook or anything like that.
Yeah, I've watched some of them. I've posted a few
But
on
I've been doing
Facebook.
like, so,
But you can
say
put
again?
those on. I've put some on Sun and Moon, but you know that you can post your little videos on Sun and Moon, don't you?
Yeah,
So what
yeah,
else
I'm
have you
still
been getting into
there.
then? Explain, because obviously on a hangout.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, at the moment I'm just looking into being a sovereign, which means a free man of your country basically. and not having to pay taxes and insurance and all that kind of stuff and debts.
You'd
But
really
I believe
like
it's all
you'd
part
really
and
like
parcel.
Wilson. Wilson's into all that. Have you seen Wilson talking?
Might have, it's very possible I might
And
have
to
come
be
across him.
honest, the Hangout I used, well, it was him doing a live thing, you know, and you do your live video things, and then he puts it on Facebook. So I copied it, put it on my YouTube, and then started posting it around Facebook. That's when they blocked me. You know, the birth certificate's not a birth certificate; it's a death certificate. And he was talking about it's called the road to, you know, the road to freedom or whatever. So I put the truth out, and then I got blocked.
Well, that's what they always do, and stuff like that. Love
So the
to
stuff you're talking about.
you can't.
So
Yeah.
explain a little bit about that then, Craig. That because obviously people do know about it, but explain what you're doing then.
Well, I'm just like still in the basics of it all. You know, there's so much to get through. At the end of it, at the end of the day, what's happening is, you know, the path I'm taking is like, you know, driving a car and stuff like that. But that's how they get you, because really you're traveling, you're not driving, and traveling is your freedom of movement. You know, like walking.
So what actually happens then? So if you can get away with not having a license driving, but what happens when you actually park the car in a public place? How does it work? Because you're supposed to have tax, insurance, all those things to be on a public road. So you can get around the law for actually driving. What actually happens for where you put the car at the beginning and you put the car at the end? How do you get around the law in that bit?
Well, from what I understand is you've got to send a certain document out to police and DVLA. You've got to deregister your car and all that. Sufficient paperwork on your car as well to let, you know, private property, you're going to park in a place where, you know, you would park if you was just driving a car with tax and insurance.
But you can still do this even though you haven't got tax and insurance.
Well, yeah, if you haven't got tax and insurance on your car because you've given the, you know, the correct paperwork to all these, let's say, DVLA, these transport of police and all that kind of stuff. Well, once you've given that paperwork, that, you know, basically you can go from there.
So is this something you're looking into or something that you actually want to change your life for? Because Wilson obviously has been talking about this and wants people to understand that they can have an alternative. And we had a hangout with Jimmy doing microgreens, because again, you can take your power back by growing your own stuff, whereas we're now a society that goes to the supermarket, me included. But we used to grow things, but microgreens you can grow in windowsills, so you don't need land. You can do it all in your own house. So it's about, all this is slowly like taking the responsibility back and getting your own power back, because we've given it away. And like you say, every time we sign a contract, we're giving our power away. And even the way Wilson was talking about the fact that, you know, when the police say things to you, they use certain words and you think you're going, yes, I've understood it, but you're not. You're saying, yes, I agree to being arrested, and you don't even realise you've said what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Because words mean different things.
Well, it's all spells, isn't it? Spells, you know. You could use all these words just to get you to do something that you are thinking it's the right thing to do, sort of thing.
Yeah, but we don't realise what the words actually mean. Even when we're, you know, anarchist doesn't mean what it means. They've just associated it with what they want to make it look, but really it means the opposite. It means freedom. It doesn't, you know, if you think what an anarchist, someone said, not now, but not you and me, not flat earth, not in that, but on the general public, if you go, oh, they're an anarchist, they'll think that that's a bad person. And really you're just saying it's about, the word means freedom. But they love playing with words, don't they? And you don't even realise what you're saying and what you're agreeing to. So what else are you looking up then? So you're looking up cars.
Yeah, debt.
Debt, I know.
Not you know, yeah. But
debt.
Particularly when you know when you you're in a contract with someone else, let's say, and you can't afford to pay them, so you stop on your payments, and they pass you over to a third debt company, and then this third debt company, starts sending you letters and phoning you saying blah 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 blah, you owe us this. But really and truly, you don't owe them because you never signed a live contract with them in person, sitting there signing a contract.
Yeah.
And no one's done that. So what they essentially done is bought your debt and paid it for you, and you could just say thank you. I don't want to do business with you.
Yeah, that's what
It's
your
a weird
videos
thing,
have been
really.
about, isn't it? Some of your videos, I've watched them. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, it all leads from God, flat Earth, to freedom. That's where I've gone from, basically. And I'm still going.
Do you know one thing I think as well is, this is what I put out in my videos myself, is that, if you look behind us, we've got Second World War, debt, poverty, everything's poor, deprived, bad. And then you look at the front, you've got terrorism, wars, other things, people have heard of CERN and stuff like that. So the future doesn't look very good. And then what it is they've made sure that society itself is broken up. Nobody trusts each other, not even in their families. So, breaking up the family, I think, means here and now. It's here and now. Everything else is past and future.
Well, for me, I think flat Earth is the awakening of the people. It opens a whole boundary of newness.
Yeah.
Of what is actually going on. Do you know what I mean?
Asking you then,
it's a very powerful thing.
I've not asked you because I've not talked to you on a Hangout for a while, have I? But what do you think this thing about is that some people wake up and see it for what it is and see the like this kid story with the emperor's clothes, and then others will battle to the death about what we're living in and believe what we're living in, and yet there's a whole section of people who just can't, who've woken up. What do you think all that's about then?
Well, from the Christian standpoint, it's basically God saying, look, you're in the last days, you're about to wake up, and I'm going to wake you up, and I'm going to show you the truths that, because we're living in the last days. And those people that wake up are the people pass on to the other people, the knowledge. Wake up and have clarity are for those people that haven't got it yet. And people like you and me who do videos and put them on YouTube, Facebook, that's just putting it out there. It's planting the seed, basically.
Yeah. Do you look at it this way? I put one out on one of my videos. I can't remember her name. It's an American lady. She's some kind of medium. But what she's done is she's regressed people, okay? And when they've been regressed, they tell her stuff. And a lot of the people are telling her that they know what wave they are, and that supposedly so far, I mean, this video might have been 5 years old, but there's been 3 waves of people. So the first wave are probably in their 60s and 70s. The second wave are 60s down to 40s. And the third waves are 30s to teenagers. So the first wave got sent. The second waves are in tenors. And the third wave are what are going to change the world. So it's our children that are going to change the world. And the antennas, I mean, I feel like that because there's people like Wilson, like you, like there's just certain people, the information that they're getting, that's coming to them. Just the things they're looking up, the things they're understanding, the history, everything. They're like antennas. They're like, that's to the source. That antenna goes to the source. So it's a God-given thing. And we here, the people, are helping and researching and coming out with it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like every sector of person that's going on YouTube, they've all got their line of inquiries. And let's say Russian Vid, he does like the films and stuff like that. You do the sun and the moon, and I do whatever I do. Everything all. Do you know what I mean?
The biggest thing we've got to do is stick together. We're not all going to agree on the same thing, and we still have, some of us have a perception of what we think we're living on, even if it's a flat. It's still different. We've got to come together and stick together now. Trust each other.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's so many people on YouTube and stuff. They're just fighting each other, and I think it's really silly because of stuff together. You're going to come with a truth, and it's going to be the truth. Do you know what I mean? Because you've all worked together and you work, actually, it's this way. Oh, actually, it's this way. Do you know what I mean?
I think Facebook are doing rather a lot of that. I think Facebook have done something. About, say, 6 weeks ago, they took all the views off. So I can't see who's viewed anything. I go to other people's Facebooks, and their views are there. But mine have been taken off, and off Sun and Moon. And I've noticed that some of the Flat Earth groups are dying. You know, groups that haven't posted, no one's posting for weeks. They might have thousands of people in those groups, but no one's, that's it. The last post was, say, the 5th of April. And I think that they're doing something on YouTube. Mark Sargent was talking about it, that there's 2 search engines, and one of the search engines, they've almost taken off every flat earth thing. So if people tap in flat earth this way, they're not really going to find much, but there's another way where you can. But they're trying to manipulate it all because it's getting that big and they don't know what to do with us.
Well, yeah, the truth is out there, and they can't handle the truth, because once you know the truth is out there, money's going to be coming from those and stuff like that, and NASA will break down, and they don't want to have that. Just like the governments don't want to have that.
Put this up myself, because I
Society.
think NASA, if NASA goes, the governments go, and then someone said, well, what they'll do is they'll just blame NASA and get away with it. But I always thought, because the governments have listened so much to NASA, and obviously the Americans, that if NASA's closed down or shown to be a fake, it just completely hates the Americans. It does. Who's going to believe they're a superpower after that?
To the Americans, it'll just be like China, Japan, England, all the countries with a space program, which is also being selling us these lies, basically. Everything will just be shut down.
I find it really important, Craig, that obviously you look at all your information, but in the last couple of months, because I've started to put stuff on my YouTube channel, I've started to look at some of the footage from NASA, and every bit I look at is full of mistakes. It's like, I never watched it before. Only tiny bits, and the bits they want to show you on the television. But if you actually go and get some of the footage out, it's full of mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy being awake, innit, and seeing all these things.
Yeah, but
it's just like cartoons.
Yes, it is a cartoon. It's completely CGI'd.
Yeah,
and one of my videos, I saw a paused astronaut. So one astronaut is working away, and the other one's paused. And,
no, I saw that video. I looked at that video.
And it's even worse than that, because someone wrote to me on my YouTube and said the leg shadow of... And actually, when you actually study it a few times and look at the shadow, you know that they've actually put the shadow on there. The shadow doesn't quite... There's something wrong with the shadow. It doesn't quite... And then when his leg goes over, instead of it hitting it properly, the shadow of his leg disappears. So the whole thing is manipulated. But what that means is they were never there together. The whole thing is CGI'd and a lie. It's supposed to be live.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand how they've managed to get away with it for so long now.
Well, don't forget, we've all been asleep, and we've been taught from kids. So, yeah. And CGI, you know, it does look real to a certain degree. It's only till you're awake that you see it. And when you're asleep, you won't see it.
I know, it's quite incredible how they've got us, isn't it? Because a few years ago, I'd have looked at it and gone, God, look at the ISS going over the Earth. Look at the footage. And people don't realise that that's only high altitude height, probably 60,000 feet up.
Yeah. It's crazy. Because I've got a few friends that said to me, look, it's not flat, because I've seen the space station going past and this, that, the other. And I was really? And I just chuckled to myself. I don't say, actually, you're wrong. And like belittle them sort of thing. I just like, yeah, okay. One day you will find out. I've planted the seed. So then you go from there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because they don't realise that something the size of a plane, you're not going to see it 250 miles away.
No, definitely not.
Oh, just the amount of lies. It's terrible, isn't it? It's just, the whole thing is just terrible.
What I do like, you know, you've got the P9 Canon camera, is it?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when you zoom in and you look at the stars, they're nothing like what they've told us. But they look so beautiful anyway.
Yeah, you mean...
they just flicker and shine and move about.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
I mean, a lot of people don't even know this, Craig. And it was a member in the group. He was talking about most people don't realise that this is a month, whereas the sun only has 2 a year. And what it is when those
Right.
equinoxes happen, the moon will come in and it will change direction. Like it will be going west a little bit, but it's coming north and it drags the stars. It's the moon that moves the stars round twice a month to fit the seasons. It's the moon. I saw the moon pull all the stars with it, and then it kind of dropped them off, and then everything went west. Everything came north for an hour, whole hour. It started coming north, all the stars with the moon, and then at the end of about an hour and a quarter, it stopped almost, and then it just went west. It carried on going completely west, and in that hour, it moved the stars. Now that's happening twice a month, like a clock.
Wow.
Click, click,
Hey,
click,
know that.
click.
I'm learning something new today.
But you see, you have to maybe watch it yourself. But I find it quite incredible that we're 2017 and nobody really knows about this. But I saw it twice in January. It was clear nights. It was at night, the equinoxes, and like one was say 10 o'clock and one was like say nearly 12 o'clock or something like that. And I saw it twice for myself. And I couldn't believe it.
What did you do? Was you using a camera?
Well, I was actually had the other person who said it was going to happen on the phone, but I did a bit of time lapse, but it just doesn't show what I want it to show because I don't have a big studio filming it all. And even when you leave the phone on, an hour will give you 15 seconds of time.
Yeah, exactly.
And even on a P900, it's the same. All that time, and you only get seconds.
Yeah.
But all I suggest is that
crazy,
I can probably try and find out when the next equinox is, but of course we need a clear day because you know how cloudy it is here. And you watch for yourself because you will see stars and the moon moving together.
Wow.
The only thing I didn't do, Craig, was notice what was happening behind me with the stars because I was looking out the window going, oh my God, they're moving all together. You know, it was just incredible. But I didn't actually go and check the whole sky to see if all the stars were moving round. But I saw that section with the moon come north, be dropped off almost, and then the moon went off and they all went west.
Yeah. Blimey. Wow.
So the moon does a lot more than people think it does.
Yeah. Well, that's right. You know, that's what God is. He made this stuff work that way. You know what I mean? That's how you know this not just billions, thousands of years. It just come to existence.
Well, as we're the most amazing thing that could ever be made, including even us as humans, you know, like, in a sense, if you think about it, we're multi-dimensional in our bodies. I can move my hand, move my feet, talk to you, eat. I can do a myriad of things all in one go. What do you actually think God is?
If you're going from the Bible standpoint, he is a human kind of entity because he can walk because he went into the garden and walked. So he's a being of sorts. And he made us in his image, so he looks like us, basically. I believe. I don't think he's a spirit just like floating around. I believe he can go into that and come in as a human as well.
If you watched any of Sirius's work, what it is that it just seems that this whole thing we live on is electromagnetics and frequencies, right? And
yeah, I think so.
And what it was is he put the Mandelbrocks and the flower of life and the tree of life. And then what he said to me was, we're living in the tree of life, the heart garden of the tree of life. And then the next day I met a person who'd heard the heartbeat. And it sounds like a human heartbeat in the fact that he's found it on a frequency and he's moderated a radio. There's only one in this country at least that's like Alan's. And he picks it up in his car. But what happens is, you know when you're sitting still, or when they go to a hospital, the heartbeat goes da-dunk, 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 da-dunk. But the moment you start moving around, if you're actually wired up, your heartbeat will be going da-dunk, 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 da-dunk. And that is what it sounds like. It sounds like it's walking around. And
Okay.
so basically, with this Mandelbrot thing series did, and then they had the Buddha, basically, we're living in God. We're in God. We don't have to find him. He's here. We're living in God, in the frequency of God.
Okay. Well, that can come down to the dome and all that kind of stuff as well. Like a glass. So there's the frequencies bouncing off of it and hitting us, and bouncing off it and hitting us. It could be something along them lines as well.
Again, yeah. Alan, right,
Good
working
point.
for an electricity company, they were asking him to do certain work. So some of this work was to do with scalar waves going up. But in a sense, he realised that because the scalar waves came back, he knew there was a firmament up there. So far, he can only clarify the frequency. He couldn't say whether it's glass or anything else up there. But the scalar waves come up and they almost, well, he says immediately come back. And what Alan's found is the north, west, east, south, that there is, he's found the edges, if you understand what I mean. The edges in the fact that it loops after that, because we're on this infinite plane and this perspective bubble you're in goes with you. And as you're always the centre of it, it's like a loop. It'll always be looping. But he's found this. He's found the whole thing. He's found the north, east, south, west, and he's found the frequency dome firmament above. And he knows through his work that we're on a flat plane. And he says all the electricity companies, they know we're a flat plane. They know. Yeah. And he's pretty sure.
As far as they do, because
that the pylons are harvesting free energy from the sky.
Yeah, they probably are. You can, because it's all electrical, isn't it? So yeah, I mean, for me, crazy. They know how to use all this stuff because they've known for a very long time. You use something like electricity and you put it against certain things, and it zaps it. Like if it's got water in it, it goes zzz, and stuff like that. You know, you can make energy. There's cars that, run cars off of electricity without petrol and stuff like that. And it's just never ending power. Nothing.
Do you know what else is sort of not freaky? I don't mean it like that, but if it's in our atmosphere, we're breathing it in. We're breathing in all that. And I find it quite incredible that we're living in a completely kind of electric place with all this electricity, free energy, we survive. We're almost, it's almost set up that we shouldn't be here, none of us, because it's so electric.
Well, that's why, there's a God. Anything else, then we'd probably be zapped a long time ago.
So
it's really, crazy.
I wonder, I mean, I actually use the word creator now, although from a child I've always prayed to God. But I just wondered, could one person make all this? Is God an entity of other beings? He's not just one person or one entity. It's entities, but we call it God. How do we? One question was, how do we go from believing in gods to having one God?
Sorry, say that again. You broke up.
Well, in the olden days, like paganism and all that, they believed in gods, whereas it got to a point when suddenly we believed in one God. How did?
I don't think we'll ever know the truth on that one because, history's been changed from what it was to what it is now. So that's a hard one to answer.
Have you been looking at people like Martin, Dave, and probably Santos is in there, and Wilson, that this whole thing that we come from might not be as long ago as they say it is? And I say this word reset, which people may not like, but the pyramid people were another set of people with technology that we don't even, they understand, don't they? Them, but they have not let us know it. So, in a sense, Wilson put one out, so basically saying they know we've got a molten core, but they've only been 12 miles down. Do you see what I mean? Like, there's all these things they say they do know, but they don't. They probably do know the truth, don't they? But they're not telling us. But they've hidden all the technology. They've hidden
Yeah,
our right.
but what they've done as well, they've got rid of all the giant skulls and stuff like that as well. You've heard about this, yes?
Yeah.
This goes back to the floods, when Noah got on the ark and God flooded the earth, and to get rid of things like that, that kind of technology, because basically, if we carried on with it, we could have got anywhere and done anything. Babel, they was almost reaching God, and God didn't want that, and he split everyone up and changed everyone's languages.
Yeah.
So I believe there's a truth in that somewhere, and there's a lie in there. The people in power can change reality for you because you don't know. You're just a kid, and you're growing up in their society, in their world that they control.
Because I have two points to the pyramids. In one sense, the pyramids were omitting all this energy, and they were actually firing beams up in the sky to the sun, to the ionosphere, and to other places to get energy, and some of them are still working. So you've got all that, and in it they were using crystals to harvest the energy. The crystals they used were very spiritual, very opening up crystals, very healing crystals, with quartz and amethyst.
Well,
right.
They found some of those crystals in the desert, didn't they?
Yeah, but these crystals are really good for us. Then they were using the negative ions out of the ground, which were really good for us. In that sense, the atmosphere that we lived in would have been like, we'd have said heaven, because of the crystal and the negative ions. But then there's this other part where there's stories about, in the pyramids will say, basically, there is a danger of, you could make the power, but too much power would destroy us. So do you think that the pyramid people destroyed themselves? I mean, we're probably the slaves from them.
Possible.
Or do you think this was a God-given change?
Yeah, it's definitely a God thing. I mean, just to wipe out people like that, just powerful that can do something like that. And people can have certain kind of power, but to wipe out a whole race, I don't think that's possible. And nukes and stuff like that, which leads me to another point. I don't believe nukes and stuff are really.
No, what they've done to us and made us believe, and we believed it.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, like, there's this part of the pyramid side which seems so positive and the best thing for us, and most people don't realise that there's not just 10 pyramids, there's thousands of them. They're absolutely everywhere. They're all over America, all over Europe, and it's not that I kind of didn't know this, but I kind of lost track of it because it's a place about 20 miles. It's near Avebury, if you've heard of Avebury. It's a stone circle. It's past Marlborough on the way to Bristol sort of thing. It's that way. And you've got Avebury, which is this stone circle, and then there's other things. There's Long Barrows. There's other things there, looking quite electrical, to be honest. And then there was this place called Silbury Hill. Now, most people knew it as a mound of earth and didn't know what it was. And I bet you if I asked everybody in this close I live, they'll just say it's a mound of earth. I went and found it on the Pyramids of the World. It's a pyramid. The Pyramids of the World. It's on their front page. And I found a meme. A lot of the pyramids actually go to Avebury. The power source is to Avebury, to Silbury Hill. Silbury Hill may have been the pyramid where they all came from. Connection, I mean.
Yeah. It's possible. I mean, in the ancient days, well, I say ancient days, but in the old days, they had sort of electrical vehicles that sort of hovered and stuff like that. They used those kind of frequencies.
Yeah, Alan's quite sure that they were able to time travel. I don't want it to sound too spacey like. They may not have been able to take in their bodies, but we were a lot more telepathic, and they could take their minds. They could go to places. They may have not taken their bodies. So you think, wow, they were really...
Well, it's like your dreams.
Yeah, go on.
It's like your dreams. When you're in a dream, your body... your spirit can leave the body and actually fly around and actually look at things in your dreams, and you can look down and you see things. and you're not quite sure why you're flying, but it's actually you. But the body's resting with the brain function. Spirits come out of the body and it's moving around. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, have these dreams about flying anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, there is astral. I do understand that. I used to think, then I thought about it, and I thought, at one point I was on this bus going to Eastbourne, and there was a bus full of people, and I thought, they're all in my dream, and if they're a bus, I'm in their dream. I'm in whatever, we're all in it together and don't realise if we actually turn round and looked at each other. Do you see what I mean? Because don't forget, you're on a bus, you're doing whatever you want to do. I don't know what I was doing. I was travelling to shopping, and I was thinking of probably shopping or something. But if we actually when I look back at what I saw, if we actually turned around and looked at each other, we'd know we were in each other's thing.
Well, yeah, exactly. To each other and said, actually, we're in a dream. What can we do within this dream? It's the possibilities are endless.
I know. But just a bit like the whole about the pyramids has changed rather a lot in the last year. I mean, maybe 2 years ago they were still burial chambers, and now everybody knows they're completely the opposite. I just don't know how long they can sit on this. I mean, are you voting today? Are you voting today?
No, I don't vote for those people, those demons.
I have to say, this is the first time in my life that I've never voted, because there is that bit about people died for you to have the vote, and women, the suffragettes and all that. But everybody on a Hangout last night said they weren't voting, and I'm not voting. I can't vote for it anymore.
For you to vote, that was your right anyway.
I just don't want to.
Since government came into power.
And this election's a really weird one. Isn't it? It's a really weird election, this one. Yeah. It shouldn't be here. But anyway, have you got to leave now?
What's the time?
10 to 2.
Oh, I've got about 5 minutes.
Well, I did record it, you know me, because I stick them on the group. Is there anything you want to talk about in that 5 minutes? It's all yours. Go on. Talk about what you want to talk about.
On the spot now, ain't you? No.
You have to say, peg legs in the house. Peg legs in the house.
Peg legs in the house. Okay. Good work that you guys are doing. It's brilliant.